and well met, and welcome to Severed Threads, Notes from the Black Ballad. My friends, this is the final episode of Season 2. So glad that you've joined us for all that has come, and we look forward to seeing you with what comes next. But before we get to that point, we must get through tonight. As usual, thank you very much to Storytellers Forge, the wonderful writers of The Black Ballad, the module that we are currently playing. They also sponsor this stream, and they're a great group of people. So not only is this for sale at their website, which you can see in the chat, storytellersforge.com, but also they have a variety of other things, some books that are set in this setting, and also a brand new campaign that has just been infused with money from a successful backer kit campaign. Yes, that's what I would. We should all be so lucky as to be infused with money.
Yes, please.
But it is called
I didn't take that
Festival
spell, but all right.
Festival of the Forgotten Revelations from the Dark Carnival. You should definitely check that out as well. I'm sure that it will be in our future at some point. But if you like the music that you've been listening to and will listen to, that is thanks to Dia Morte, the fantastic band led by Drake, who has written music that has been inspired this module. If you like our character art, then you have Kai to thank for it. If you like what we do and what I do, then you can hire me to be your DM, as I am a DM for hire. Let's see. I didn't actually prepare any rapid-fire questions for the group tonight.
I've got one if you would like to be included in it.
That's great. Yes, please. You take it away.
What celebrity would be the narrator of your life?
Like minor wins.
Ooh.
I would say yours is the player or the dungeon master.
Let's keep it in character. Who would it be for the characters in the game?
Right.
If you don't mind, Samus.
Oh, sure.
Since you asked the question, I'll let you go last. But let me see. For me as the DM, it's got to be Morgan Freeman, doesn't it? He's got to just hail and well met. Yeah. And welcome to Severed Threads, Notes from the Black Ballad.
Francis Meyer crawled through 3 miles of shit.
So next up we'll have Jack. Jack, who will it? Or Ryan, I should say.
Oh, obviously the late great David Bowie. We have a wonderful recording of him doing Peter and the Wolf that my girls are obsessed with. And so he actually has a lovely speaking voice. So yeah, he is Jack's inner monologue and also outer monologue, if anyone hasn't caught on to that yet.
Peter and the Wolf, tra-la-la.
That's exactly what is our household.
Tess.
So if we get to do people who are late and great, then I would choose Maggie Smith. For a win, for sure. If I had to pick somebody who was live, which is what I thought the rules were before Ryan said that, I was going like in the Emma Thompson world.
Yeah, nice.
But
nice.
Maggie Smith is top choice.
Jesse.
I actually think I would stay in the D&D world a little bit, and it would be Laura Bailey.
Ooh, good.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good
Good
one.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, just some of her characters she's done, I think she'd do a really good job of Dawn, just like her nosing and stuff. I think she'd do a great
Could absolutely hear
for
that.
Dawn.
Soko?
You're asking the person that never remembers anyone's name.
Well, just say the person from
Just
so-and-so.
give us that person in that thing that did the just do that.
I feel like Alan Rickman.
Oh, that
Good
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
yeah, that'd be a
It's a
good
great
one.
one.
As like Snape,
Yeah, exactly.
specifically Snape Alan
Yeah.
Rickman.
I mean, it has to be
Yeah.
someone that can talk. Yeah, that can do like
Or
a
Or like
snarky evil.
Die Hard Alan Rickman. So
No.
Yeah,
Sure.
oh, yeah.
Oh, the little accent.
Ladies and
too.
gentlemen.
What about the actor
Ladies
who
and
did
gentlemen.
Wednesday Addams in the Wednesday series? She's,
Oh.
or I think
Ortega.
Is that Ortega?
yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny Ortega.
Jenny Ortega or Audrey from
Hepburn.
no, it's Audrey Hepburn.
Yep. Plaza. Aubrey Plaza.
Audrey from Hepburn.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, Audrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation, I think would also be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audrey Von
You're
Hepburn,
gonna
as she's known in
die of
German.
fun.
And back to Samus.
Well, the funny thing is, the person that I would have picked for Niall
Was
is
Audrey
Downton
Hepburn.
area.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Was Maggie Smith. But since now I have to take a left at the traffic light, I'm going to go with one of my favorite drag queens, Coco Peru.
Yes.
Just iconic and perpetually irritated, and just it would have been perfect.
Fantastic.
If
That was a
if
great
she's
choice.
busy, then Neil Newborn could be my backup Niall narration.
yeah.
Just throwing it out there. Some Astarian.
Once somebody
Some
writes
stuff.
the book of this campaign, and then
Oh my-
we need to have it voice acted.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, that was great. Thanks for that suggestion.
Okay, so
Samus.
then if
was fun.
I have to pick somebody who's actually alive, then it's gonna be Tom Hiddleston, I guess, will be the
All right.
so.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, I think, without any further ado, my friends, it is time. I extend my hand, inviting you to step with me into fantasy. Release your hold on that which you know to be true, and let imagination rule for the next few hours.
He said it. He said
I said
It happened.
Yes. Last time on Severed Threads, Notes from the Black Ballad, the adventurers, having experienced the length and breadth of the Ashen Fields, traveling all the way to the Storm of Broken Worlds, accompanying Magen the Betrayer to the literal domain of death in order to request of death themselves, to end resurrection magic, at least as far as the death aspect of it is concerned, so that the Scarlet Malice can be contained, this never-ending flood of souls that keep coming into the Ashen Fields and the Sunless Crossing, where because of the war between the Legionnaires and the Accursed Guard, once they die, they return back to the living world, infect more individuals, and bring them back to the Sunless Crossing over and over and over again. Something must be done. And so they successfully petitioned death to end resurrection magic for all of the deities connected to death. Unfortunately, their counterparts, who had traveled to the domain of life to secure the same promise from that entity, have failed. And as such, the Scarlet Malice, while slowed, has not ended. And it spells ultimately doom for the Sunless Crossing and all of the souls that are currently here, including the heroes. The sovereign of the godless monarchy here in Noxvillar, the city of the Sunless Crossing, has an idea, a way to perhaps resurrect Nixia, the long-dead goddess of resurrection, who actually sacrificed herself to create the Sunless Crossing, with the promise from all the other deities that it would be a temporary fix, a stopgap, allowing souls to have a place to congregate before heading towards their eternal rest or eternal punishment, so that they are not forced to endure those aspects of their afterlife before being resurrected, if resurrecting is indeed in their future. But her plan to resurrect Nixia requires a tremendous amount of energy, and so she asked the adventurers to head into the city of Noxvillar and the road to eternity to petition various high priests in the temples there to receive boons from the deities that inhabit, that are connected to the Sunless Crossing. Each one of them have succeeded. The final one was a tremendous fight against a horrible apparition that the group handled very admirably, thanks to some incredible rolls from the paladin. Unfortunately, as they left, having secured all of the boons that they needed and being empowered with tremendous strength and deific magic, they once again encountered Janos and the Legionnaires who attacked them. They managed to defeat Janos and the Legionnaires. However, as part of that confrontation, their Ashen Shepherd, who had accompanied them the entire travel to Noxvalar, their friend, I gotta keep wanting to say Janos, but it's not Janos.
Johan.
It is
Johan.
Johan.
Thank you. My brain. Johan was destroyed, not killed, because he would just be brought back. His soul was actually absorbed by Janos,
Oh,
and as such,
I'm getting mad again.
his
I
fate
know.
his fate is unknown. But the group have succeeded, and as you return to the Onyx Requiem with good news for Ashlyn, you now have a moment to reflect, especially now holding on to this power, all of your eyes glowing a little bit with this intense boons of all these deities growing within you. You have a moment to reflect upon what has happened, if you wish.
Guys, it didn't work, but that power, and I shouldn't have. What if I can't help? What if I can't help with what the Sovereign needs now?
Then it would have been no different if we had failed in any of those attempts to get these powers.
Yeah. I guess.
I wonder if we should be stopping there. Should we all be trying?
Tomorrow's another day.
That's her.
We have to keep moving.
I wonder if we would. No, I actually think we should take a stop before we see Ashlyn. If there is any chance to save Johan, we should talk to Corcoran and see if he can understand what that absorption spell is. If there's a way to free him, he might be able to discover it.
I mean, the Arbiter seems to know what these... Because this is, I think, what Kelsier was doing. When I was in her head, it wasn't like her. It was like her plus others.
I
Lots
remember
of others.
seeing the souls swarming around her. It was terrifying, and as we struck her, they disappeared. I don't know if that means the souls are being released or if they're being destroyed.
I don't know, but when I went in her head, when we questioned her, I don't think she's just her anymore. I think she's many. The Arbiter called them soul stitched.
When you were in her head, sensing these presences, did you get the sense that they were many different identities, like a large group of people all standing in one arena? Or did you get the sense that they were all formed together to create something new, like paint that's been smeared around?
I remember feeling like she was becoming something else. I think they start, because they're dying over and over, and every time you die here, you lose a part of yourself. And I'm almost wondering if they're replacing those pieces of themselves that they're losing with these souls that they're absorbing and becoming like a patchwork quilt.
When Johan's soul was absorbed, it almost sounded like he had his accent.
Right? He spoke with his accent for just a moment before we killed him.
Heart.
I think they become a part of the person who takes them in.
Maybe Ashlyn would know.
I mean, her and the Arbiter's the one who told us what they were called initially. So I'm assuming they know more about this. Maybe they know if it can be undone.
Maybe we can leverage our help with a promise of information or help for Johan.
I would like to think that they'd help.
Agreed.
Or give us
Regardless.
information anyway.
Yes.
Though Ashlyn, hopefully she's in... I mean, we've only been gone for a few hours, but hopefully she's got some rest while we were gone.
Well, you know where her private quarters are. Her dwarven attendant notwithstanding. If
Yeah, I
you
don't
wish
trust her.
to go right ahead. Keep on not trusting her.
I also forgot about that.
I didn't.
The true big bad of the whole campaign.
Just wait for the reveal. Wait for the reveal.
The handmaiden.
I knew it!
Sean's gonna be like, and that's the end of our show, except for the I knew it.
It's the sort of thing that the DM is like, yeah, sure, yeah, that's planned it the whole time.
Yeah, no, and she thinks she did what now? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, do go on. Yes. Oh
Yeah,
no. Yes,
no.
absolutely. So you make your way up the many flights of stairs, down the halls. Her private quarters are very secluded from the rest of the Onyx Requiem, but you make your way back there. And when you find her, she is once again in her study, poring over a stack of books, journals, and you can see there's a large piece of slate that is hanging down from the ceiling, and on it there is a web of diagrams and arcane annotations that have been drawn there in chalk. She does not seem to have gotten much rest. However, she is perhaps a little less manic than she was before, because as you come in, she looks at you. Were you successful?
So this is less manic. Good.
Yeah, we were.
But at great cost.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But you are all seem to be intact. I could feel the power coming off of you, but has it taken a toll?
Janos and the Legionnaires seem upset about the power that we have gathered. And we witnessed them killing and him absorbing Johan.
Oh, I'm so sorry, and it's the sort of thing, we're hearing tales of that sort of thing happening from both the Legionnaires and the Accursed Guard. Souls that have been a part of this place for centuries, gone or changed beyond recognition. It's the sort of thing that makes me want to just marshal our forces and destroy every one of them. But it would do no good. But this might. This might. And so, we must put aside our grief and focus on actually making one grand attempt. Because, my friends, the Arbiter tries very hard to hide it from me, but I'm aware we are in grave danger of being overrun. So, my plan. I plan to use myself as a conduit to channel the energies that you have collected and begin a ritual and hopefully see it through to its conclusion to successfully resurrect Nixia at the site of her grave. You can see, she points to the diagram, you will all need to be present. You will all need to be channeling your divine energy towards me here at the center. Only together will we be able to collect all of the disparate pieces of Nixia so that she can once again find herself and be made aware of our need. Because, as you know, only a willing soul can be resurrected.
How does that work with us having ended resurrection magic?
Well, You haven't. You've only ended resurrection magic that can be channeled by death. But what I intend to channel will be governed by life.
Guess it's a good thing that
Do you
other
want
team
us-
sucked.
Well, if they had succeeded, then this would not be necessary.
Right.
Usually it's not a good thing to suck, Jack.
I don't know who you've been talking to, but
Not the time, Jack.
apologies. But carry on.
I'm not sure which type of divine energy you expect us to be able to channel at this time, but I've already expended a rather large resource of my divine energy
Well, we will.
for the day.
It will not be something that we can do immediately, but there will be a rest. All of us must rest. Must gather our strength. But with rest, I will be needing all of your divine energy. Only then do we have a chance of resurrecting Nixia. As she says this, there is a noise from the door, and you look behind you and you see Valen the Jade. He has a bouquet of flowers in his hand and an absolutely thunderstruck expression on his face as he has just heard Ashlyn say this.
Yeah.
You intend to do what?
I don't think he knew about the plan.
Valen, I'm sorry to have kept it from you, but I'm afraid you would have had the reaction you seem to be having. As he comes in, his wings scrape against the wall, he drops the flowers. I say, I would recommend, my sovereign, that in the future you plan such blasphemy more secretly. I could hear your voice halfway down the hall. How could you think that this is a proper course? Ashlyn begins to explain to Valen all the things that she has explained to you. However, she seems to be failing both in her persuasion and also in she's just at the end of her rope. So as Valen stands there, beginning to breathe more and more heavily, you can see anger and just absolute disbelief that he is hearing this coming from the sovereign. If any of you have a way to perhaps calm him down.
I will step.
I
You might be better, but I'm hot-headed and I'm going to step in front of I will step in front of Ash. I will put myself in between them and I say, frankly, Valen, I haven't seen you offer up a better alternative. You and your guards have been repeating the same cycle at a greater and greater disadvantage. As you well know, the definition of insanity is repeating the same course of behavior and expecting a different result. Where is your suggestion? Ashlyn has sacrificed everything, including her sanity and her energy, to come up with this plan. If you've got something better, I'm all ears. But from my perspective, we are marching towards disaster.
Make a persuasion roll, please.
Yak will.
You gonna add to that? Yeah.
Was going to pick up the flowers and hand them back to Valen and just say, we don't get to control the people we love. We can only try to help them the best we can.
So, away
on the
it
floor.
rolls. Niall, as you confront Valen, if you confront Valen,
That's what I say in character.
you can see that this approach, this confrontational approach, with someone who has been as frustrated as he has with what is going on, he clenches his fist, and you can sense a massive blow coming. And
I'm ready
then
for it.
the flowers appear in his hand, and Jack says what he does, and it seems to break through his rage just for a moment. You might have a chance of making him hear your words, depending on what you rolled.
Well, it's on the floor, so I'm gonna do it on. I'll do it on roll 20 because I can't reach behind without.
Do you only have the one die?
That's the only. Unlike Soku has 40 million.
No wonder you're so against the physical die. If you only got the one. No.
To have the one die.
And then, DM, am I able to add inspiration to that roll?
Yeah, I'll allow a bardic inspiration.
Thank you so much for that.
Okay, I'll need the bardic inspiration because I got a 10.
You get a
D10.
D10.
So you,
D10.
You would have had advantage from
That's
Jack's
advantage.
That's with
disadvantage. That's a 10. Oh,
Okay.
a total of 14
Yikes.
with my inspiration.
So he does not seem to have been convinced, but he is very nonplussed by what Jack has just said, and he I don't know.
Dawn, this seems
What
like
are you
a job
talking
for
Everybody
you.
take a breather. Everybody take a breather. And like a pulse of energy is going to go out from Dawn as it casts calm emotions on the entire room.
Ooh, there it
Okay.
goes.
You speak of insanity. This is insane.
Why?
Because it threatens everything just as much as the Scarlet Malice does. Nixia, reborn. What happens to this place? Does she absorb us all into her being? Scarlet Malice included? And then there's a deity infected with the Scarlet Malice. I'm sure that won't have any problems in the grander scheme of the multiverse.
Because I ship them so hard. I do a quick empathic awareness to see if it's really the Scarlet Malice and Nixia that he's most concerned about, or if the top of his mind is actually Ashlyn's safety.
Sure.
Well, you want to do a deep
so
dive
it's
for that one?
my insight versus his deception.
Versus his deception. Oh. Okay, I rolled pretty high for Valen's deception. However, it is still a 14.
I rolled 26. I rolled a 12 plus 14.
That's what you get when you fuck with Captain Feels. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, good luck, anyone.
So, Valen
Captain Fields.
has a variety of emotions. What all do you get from this?
I kind of pull their most primary emotion at the time, what they're feeling most powerfully. So I understand it's fear, but I'm trying to figure out whether it's directed actually at what he's saying out loud, or if it's more maybe directed at. Dawn is I'm literally just shipping and trying to see if it's her or the world he's concerned about at this moment.
You don't,
I
it's,
love
it's
that.
not a mind read. It is. It is it's just a feeling. So
It's a feeling. It's a vibe check.
I guess my check.
He is angry. He is frightened.
Mhm.
But the most prevalent emotion that he is feeling is betrayal,
Hmm.
hurt.
Okay. Feeling that, I'm gonna say, I feel like everybody has been keeping things to themselves in an attempt to protect other people from things, and maybe that has not been the best course of action. And maybe this is the time to be open and honest and discuss the plans as a group. You two are a team. You protect this place together. You protect each other. You can only do that if you're communicating with each other.
And endlessly.
You can't tell me, Valen, that you haven't also been worried that she's pushing herself too far, and so you haven't told her everything you've discovered.
You may have a point.
We are your tools.
I'm not-
Especially Jack.
You
That's
are
true.
Hey.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh, I gave her flowers. Oh,
Sovereign,
Valen.
Okay.
if you truly feel this is the only way, what Niall has said is correct. I have exhausted my martial prowess as far as what to do to defend the city. We are holding well, but we cannot hold forever. I wish that you had trusted me with this plan. I'm forced to wonder how far you would have gone without informing me. The Sovereign has downcast eyes. She said, "You have given so much to me, Valen. I wanted to spare you this for as long as I could. But this was never going to work without your help. Will you help?" "I am at your command, my sovereign." So, yes, a rest. Time to get to know what powers you have and let them settle more fully in your forms. And the Arbiter and I will discuss how best to make our way to Nixia's grave so that we can bring about this miracle.
Of course. Everyone talk, share, possibly express, a little nudge
Jack, you're not.
to Valen there. Just gonna fly over here now.
Are we just going back to where we stayed when we first arrived here?
Kidding me? I'm not leaving this Requiem.
It would be wise to stay within the Onyx Requiem. It is well defended. Not that it makes a difference if there is a concerted attack, but that is not likely in the near future.
We will leave you guys to discuss then.
As you leave, Dawn, there is a twinge of envy. Based on what you are sensing between Valen and Ashlyn.
Okay.
On the way out, I'll look to Valen and I'm sorry I shouted at you. And if you had hit me, it would have been justified.
It would have been amazing.
Junk number now.
Sorry.
I apologize for almost losing my temper. It has been a trying time.
For the record, what you've done to defend this city has been nothing short of incredible. And we are grateful for the services you've done for all of us. And the flowers are quite lovely.
Thank you. I think secrecy will probably be the best plan. There will be many in the city that will think this is as bad, or if not worse, than the Scarlet Malice.
We must do something.
Of course.
We'll leave you be. I'll grab Jack by the wing, who I can see is like hovering just behind the door, listening to everything.
What? I wasn't gonna what? Watch, you're gonna tear my membrane. Come on.
All right. So now, my friends, there is time, a day, or I should say 8 hours, in which Valen the Jade and Ashlyn are going to determine how best to proceed. But you can also rest and take care of any matters that you wish to take care of that are yours. Does anybody have any such things to do or say?
Should we go to Corcoran?
If
I will go.
from-
DM, in terms of Corcoran, I'm overthinking it, I'm sure, but I have forgotten my memories of him up until when I met him again. I don't always forget
Correct.
my memories of him. Okay.
So the bizarre thing is that you have met Corcoran Pebblemoss, but there seems to be resistance to making new memories of him, as if your soul has become resistant.
Wow.
You're allergic to Corcoran thoughts.
Making new memories involving Corcoran.
I
Pebblemoss.
hate
Yeah,
that.
that's really rough. So, like,
Not
Sad.
impossible.
I
not
couldn't-
impossible.
I
but
couldn't even just sit down with him and have him explain our entire relationship and have it back. Yeah.
You could, but you would not
But-
retain most of it.
Wow.
but you'd have a hard time remembering it. Wow.
Brutal.
Wow.
That said, you should still be the person to go.
She would. I will absolutely volunteer, and anybody who would like to join is welcome.
I, of course, will never leave your side. So,
Don't be gross.
All right, so Wynn and Jack will do that. Anybody else?
Ooh, I think I would probably just stay put and rest.
All right.
Dawn, or I would also stay put and rest and maybe try to pick up kind of the vibes of other people in the Onyx Requiem.
Nice.
Reads
That's not
Eavesdrop.
resting.
just gonna,
eavesdrop on some conversations.
just gonna spend the day
Because
people
it's for
watching,
Dawn.
you know?
It
Yeah.
is for me.
Aggressively
I'm
people watching.
An interesting thing now-
aggressively people watching.
In the
Dusk will understand you now better than she ever has because of the infusement of your deity's power into her. But
I'm probably kind
I
of
suppose-
weirdly looming behind Dawn. I mean, like, does she
Kind of like
does
with Shadow.
she do this because this is the way she feels right now? Should I be feeling something? Am I feeling something? I'm feeling something.
And I think similarly, with MV, after feeling that little twinge with Valen and Ashlyn, I think also sometimes like when I see Dusk moving with just like a little more graceful than I've ever been able to, she seems like a little more, she's dressed, she's always put a little more effort into her appearance, and I'm always like, I've never been able, like I've always been a little more awkward, and just little twinges of envy about some of
More
her
awkward than
behavior.
Dusk?
But she's like aggressively awkward.
She
I'm like
owns
that
it.
goofy. I'm like that goofy
got it,
little
got it.
sister
Mhm,
vibe. She's like, I'm awkward because I choose
There's like
to
an-
be awkward because you
'Cause I
annoy
don't
me.
care.
And
I feel
I'm more
that.
like, and I'm more like, hi.
Like, hi.
well,
So I think that is vibing with me a little bit with my new MV powers. I'm struggling to control the feeling a little bit.
got it. Well, Wynn and Jack, you make your way to the Temple of Tongues. The fighting continues. There are sections, it would seem, of Nox Villar that are being particularly hotly contested, but you feel a very strong Nixian Guard presence in the air above the Onyx Requiem, and as you step out, an honor guard comes down and begins to travel with you. Some walking in front of you, some walking behind it, and some flying in the air above you, just to make sure that you get where it is you want to go without any trouble. And they are successful. You do make it to the Temple of Tongues and see Corcoran Pebblemoss.
I don't mean to point out the obvious, but doesn't this seem like we're taking a bit of a big risk? I know you're a risk taker. That's what I love about you.
I think Johann would take similar risks for those in his charge. It's not that big a risk.
They didn't even leave his hat.
As you step into the perpetually cluttered, it seems, Temple of Tongues with the numerous tomes and scrolls, you see Corcoran Pebblemoss scribbling away. As he looks up, there is a smile of recognition and then a memory of pain, and his smile becomes a little less bright and a little more forced, and then he takes on a more of perhaps a professorial demeanor as opposed to one of friendship.
Oh, sucks.
What brings you to see me again after such a short time?
We have questions about those that are soul-stitched, what that means in the long term.
It's a relatively new phenomenon, but one that I know something about.
Excellent.
The Sunless Crossing is not a place for the undead. When undead are destroyed, any souls that were attached to those beings, they go immediately to their eternal rest. Resurrecting such corrupted souls is problematic at best. Occasionally, a undead creature will have an arcane spark within them, usually as a result of a pact with a higher being. Not common, but it does happen. When such an entity is destroyed by divine magic, they can sometimes make their way here, where the divine aspect of this magic, combined with the arcane spark that they had, bring a soul of sorts to the Sunless Crossing, a merging of life and unlife. A soul stitched, a natural amalgam of this divine magic sustaining a corrupted soul.
And it
Terrible
seems,
fate for anyone.
It seems that they can then continue to add to this stitching.
Well, gain access to any sort of afterlife, so the Sunless Crossing is their only existence. Until they are obliterated with usually would be with divine energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because being something that is stitched together, how do you unstitch them? And seems to be divine magic would be the way to go about that. And then once you unstitch these creatures, do the souls themselves then go on to their reward? Or are they destroyed?
That, unfortunately, is not something that I am able to know. Very few soul stitch allow themselves to be studied, and very fewer than that will give you any information. In fact, none of them will. But it is my understanding that when a soul stitch consumes a new soul, it actually becomes a part of itself. Mixing of all of the souls that they have managed to imbibe. And as such, when that soul is obliterated with divine magic, I do not know if it continues on to an afterlife in this amalgamated state or if it splits apart. Fascinating question.
Any sort
but
of
I do not know the answer.
exorcism doesn't seem possible in that way. It doesn't seem like they're stitched together like a patchwork quilt, more melded and fused in an unreconcilable way.
I will say this. To my knowledge, no souls that have been consumed by a soul stitch have been returned to the Sunless Crossing. But that does not mean that they have not somehow found a way onto their own afterlife. But beyond that, I would just be speculating and speaking from a position of very little information.
I understand, Corcoran. You're doing fantastic. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Have you come across any soul stitch that have been destroyed, or any accounts of a soul stitch creature being undone?
Well, there's quite a few that are being destroyed right now. As I can understand, most of the accursed god and even many of the legionnaires are undead themselves, and were undead in whatever world they were before they came here. as such, I think many of them have the potential to become soul-stitched, if they haven't already.
even then,
Sounds to
when we-
me that destroying this soul stitched, I'm speaking to Jack right now, is there's no bad thing that could happen. At the very least, Johann would be free, even if that meant gone. Is there a cat?
Sorry.
Are you telling me Johann has been consumed?
Yes.
The Ashen Shepherd.
Yes.
Our Ashen Shepherd.
Our Ashen.
Your line of questioning makes far more sense now, tragically.
We just want to
But
undo it.
I will see what I can learn, if there is in fact anything else to learn. I assume you have a great many draws on your time. If
You remember when we killed Janos, he didn't seem to be destroyed. He seemed to be rather nonplussed by it, as if he would see us again shortly. So, and maybe it's because we didn't use divine magic, but...
DM, I interpreted that as he went away before we got a chance to fully kill him. Is that not correct?
Thinking back on it, he did actually seem to turn to ash.
Okay.
Making it seem that was indeed the end of his life.
Got it.
because we killed that mother. So
I thought he did that thing where he got down to 1 hit point and then was like, I'm out. See you next
Right.
act.
Thing.
DMs never do that.
No, plot armor.
Dimension door away.
I'm the big bad. You can't kill me yet. Peace.
Perhaps, Jack, if that's the case, we should try and contact Johann in whatever reward he may have gone to know if he has moved on,
Possible.
rather than trying to bring him back to us in any capacity.
We also may try to talk with Valen to see if, since he is on the front lines of this thing, quite literally, if he's come across, if he knows that these individuals, having been destroyed by divine magic, do they die differently, or do they just seem to keep coming back again?
Good questions.
Thank you, Corcoran.
We're staying
back.
at the Onyx Requiem. Should you have
Good.
any information to share with us?
Duly noted. Yes. I know that from your point of view, we've only just met, but I appreciate you trusting me with this information. Do you have any ideas of what can be done to end the Scholars Malice? It's beginning to worry quite a few of us here at the Temple of Tongues. There's been talk of abandoning the temple.
I promise you, Corcoran, we have a plan. Let's say Aislin's working on something right now.
We do have a plan. It is risky, but what successful plan
Aren't all.
isn't?
Ding ding. For the win.
Yes. Well,
I hate it when you make that joke.
I know.
You can't
I
make
love
it again
though,
for
every
another
time.
50 years.
Oh, come on.
50.
Technically, I've died twice, so I get to make it at least one more time.
You don't understand
Well.
the number 50.
I think
Good luck.
you don't understand the number 50.
The Nixian
No,
guard
you.
falls in around you and escorts you back to the
I can only
Onyx
imagine
Requiem.
these gargoyles just being like,
These are the people who are going to save
yeah,
us?
these
Oh.
are the.
This is the
You
best
telling me
thing
this-
ever.
Everybody thinks of
This guy's the cleric
So-
of knowledge. Yeah, you know it.
I feel like that's every D&D party. Everybody looks at them. They're like, really?
Oh.
You just
These guys?
fell into this? Okay.
We're all gonna
Um,
die.
Yeah.
I would like you all to mark off a long rest.
I would
Sorry,
my gosh.
do.
Can I do one more thing before we mark off
You
long
may,
rest?
yes.
Besides people watching, I thought of something else I wanted to do. Besides aggressively being nosy, I would like to
Pull out her journal and write Mrs. Majin.
Dawn doesn't do long-term relationships. I don't do long-term relationships. Not my jam. Niall, Dusk, do you guys think you could help me just like find a corner to not be bothered
Of course.
for just
How
like
long
a
do you
couple
need?
minutes? 10, 15 minutes. I thought of a way. They went to talk to Corcoran. I thought of somebody else I could maybe ask a couple questions to.
Of course.
Sure. And
Specifically, I can ask 3 questions.
Let me give you a private space, and I will cast. What's that
Tiny
spell?
hut?
My goodness.
Rope trick?
Rope trick. Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
We're all struggling with names today.
Names.
Normally, I tear open the fabric of reality with my whip, but considering that we're not in combat and things are a little bit calmer, I just kind of gently pry it open with my hands, and you see my little library with a couple of cushions, some books, and a small table and a candle. Will that do?
That's perfect. Thank you. And I'm going to go in and sit down on a comfortable cushion and just, I'm still getting used to the MV, but I'm regretting what happened to Johan. And so I'm really trying to sink into that. But I'm also just like finding that it's like now tinged a little bit with the envy. I feel that Janos has taken something that was so dear to us. It's like, that was ours. You can't have it kind of vibe.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to cast Commune
Okay.
to try to reach out to my deity to ask 3 yes or no questions.
All right. You center yourself, feel the power within you. It's infused with this other deity's power in a bizarre way. You feel tempted to approach this conversation with your deity as an equal, but you are able to stave off that intense hubris. But it is an instinct that comes up. You make the connection, and you have your 3 questions.
Does Johan still exist?
Not as you know them.
Could we save them from their fate?
Their fate is not yet written.
So they are still able to find their afterlife?
Their fate is not yet written.
Straight up wasted a question.
Yeah.
That's your
I'm
3.
stressed and trying not to think of myself as an equal grounds as a god. It's
To get
hard.
smitten.
Don't you usually only
The
get yes and
temptation
no
is
answers?
strong. Yeah.
Those are, it's like yes, no, or like
Cryptic.
or
Yeah.
cryptic
Oh, okay. I
responses.
thought maybe you were getting
you can
better
get
answers
unclear.
because we were so fancy now.
It's like yes, no, but the DM can flavor it with like extra words. Like yes, no, or unclear is generally what you get.
As you break this connection, you don't know that it will be so easy not to let the divine boon of envy that's within you influence your opinion of your deity the next time you go for a command.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah.
Sorry, deity, I've gotten a glow up and we need to address it.
I would like to.
I'm not wearing
I'm
a
leading
sash.
you.
I would like to switch.
I'm not wearing a sash.
For my thing, I want to switch from a incarnate to an iconoclast and become the god myself.
Oh,
Oh, there it
goodness.
is.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a
That sounds real
polytheology?
messy.
Anything
When
else?
I,
friends? Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
come back, I would just I'll be like, Niall, Johan's still out there, but not apparently as we knew him. But apparently, I don't know if it's because they didn't know or they just didn't want to share, but they seemed unable to answer whether or not Johan will be able to move on to his next afterlife or whether or not his fate has been.
Well, perhaps you should have asked better questions.
Unneeded. Until you can commune yourself, you shall not place in judgment.
Yeah.
Have you met Niall?
I can comment on ineptitude all day, darling.
You know,
it's a
some
shame
of
we
us,
didn't have a god of judgment. Yeah.
some of us are able to retain that internally. You shall not speak that way to Dawn.
I'm sorry. Did you get any information at all?
I don't
Or
have
are you
access
just
to
going-
gods.
Yes, you do.
I would imagine
Clerically
that Wynn
speaking.
and Jack have arrived
Should I actually
right in
ponder
the
that
middle
for
of
a
this
second?
fight.
I'm rather unbothered by it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kind of...
And
When you
that's
guys come back, probably Niall seems unbothered, but Dawn is acting in a way that's probably a little more like in his face than normal.
and that's why
Like,
every
a little
3 weeks counts as 50 years to a Fae. That's what I've been telling you this whole time. You keep throwing off these whole 50 years thing. Ooh, something's weird here. What's going on?
Niall doesn't like the questions I asked, my god.
Oh, wait,
No,
Niall
I
doesn't
don't even
like
know what
something?
they are. I just know you didn't have the information you wanted when you went in there.
But did we learn
Maybe
something?
the information, maybe it was less me and more my god that was unable to provide the answers and less the questions I asked them.
I agree. It's not
Oh.
that good.
The first time I've heard you speak ill of your own god.
I quite like it.
Fascinating.
Well, this
So
is
if-
weird, but we
That's-
talked to Pebble Moss if you want to know what happened.
What happened?
Yes, please give me good information.
Yeah, if we're done praying to the god of petty. All right, here we go. So let's see here. So basically, Soul Stitch, keep me honest here, Win, is an undead that has a spark, has an arcane spark in it, which may or may not have been killed by divine magic. When this arcane spark then transcends, because usually when you're undead, you get and you're for reals. But when an undead has an arcane spark, and they then return to the Sunless Crossing, and within them they sort of have this half-life, no-life rebirth. So the idea is that they then start to stitch other souls to them to try to make up for that deficit. And then from what Corcoran was able to uncover, using divine magic, you can destroy these creatures, but it seems as if, from what Wynn was able to ask, that these creatures are in fact melded together. And so he didn't have any sort of knowledge for us as to whether or not you could unstitch a soul. Did your god have anything helpful to say as to whether or not we could do that?
Johan's story is not fully written, is what my god had to say about it. When I asked specifically about his afterlife, I got the same question, that his story is not yet written.
Okay.
So I believe that there's still potential to save him.
So
Well,
My god did, however, tell me that he is not as we knew him. I don't know if we could get him back or if he's permanently changed as he was, but he might come back changed. But we might just be able to set him free and allow him to move to his afterlife. It's hard to say. When you're asking yes or no questions, you can only get so much of an answer.
wow, this is like Fae level of answering a question.
I don't know.
Well, that
Wynn
was-
got lots of answers.
Hey,
I mean, I could have walked down to the temple and maybe gotten more, but everybody seems really
it seems
keen on us staying here.
seems to be that the story isn't over, but it's nothing we can fix tonight.
So we should rest.
drinks? Oh yeah, no, rest. That's the yeah.
All right. Yes, indeed. Please mark off that long rest.
Oh, my 40 temporary hit points are gone.
Oh.
Definitely spent mine already.
Points I remember.
As you take your rest, your dreams, if you do indeed sleep, are colored intensely by the divine boon that you hold within you, to the point that you don't know that you actually sleep.
Great.
Or if you are actually just being infused with energy, being channeled into you from this intense connection to each of your respective deities. But when you have finished resting, it becomes clear that a processional is being planned. There's a little bit of pomp and ceremony that seems to be being gathered as you see that in the courtyard of the Onyx Requiem there are gathered representatives from each of the temples, not just ones that you visited, but all of the temples, which is quite a large number of them. Not the smaller temples, just the bigger ones. But so a group of several hundred have gathered and are going to be a part of a processional. As you get a little bit more of this information, it seems clear that there is going to be a show of faith in Nixia, a faith in the abilities of the Godless Monarchy and the Nixian Guard to protect Nox Valar and to not live in fear of what is currently happening between the Cursed Guard and the Legionnaires. So, the tension, however, in the city is quite palpable. However, within this gathering, there is perhaps a little bit of hope. In the shadows, this perpetual twilight that surrounds the Onyx Requiem, you see Ashlyn speaking with some priests and a few representatives from Keepers of the Faith, those that monitor the enormous hourglass that marks the time here in Nox Valar. When she sees you, a brief smile touches her features, and she politely dismisses the priests and gestures for you to come closer. She seems tense, but perhaps a bit more relaxed. This seems to be her element, being part.
Sorry, I'm
Gonna make some sort of check. Are you gonna just?
Right, yeah, I would like to know how much more relaxed Ashlyn seems, and does Valen seem more relaxed as well?
Insight check on that
So
long rest.
nosy.
Yeah.
How restful was this rest?
Go ahead, roll an
Was it
insight check.
mutually restful?
Oh yeah.
You're such a mess.
Putting the D in D&D. All right, let's do it.
Oh my God!
I rolled a 27.
A 27.
13 plus 14.
27. Now you just have to make it.
This is my skill. This is
This
my
is
one
my
thing I'm good at.
I will say that if something like that did pass between Ashlyn and Valen, they are being extremely good about keeping things professional. It might not have been physical, but you suspect that they did have words, and whatever those words were do seem to have affected both of them in a positive way.
I was actually wanting that more than
Oh
the
yeah,
other thing,
no.
but, so that's great.
The emotional long rest. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I see Machen around?
Oh my God.
Make a perception check.
Is he here? Guys, I'm literally just curious if he's helping.
we,
Guys, don't read into everything.
DM, what do I roll for?
18.
DM, what do I roll for thirst? Is there a? It's like.
Thirst. No, I'm literally.
It's a
he's helping
constitution
with
check,
this.
actually.
Yeah. Come on.
I rolled an 18.
At 18, if they are present, you do not see them.
Okay. Curious if the Godless Monarchy brought them here to participate in this.
Well, if they have,
Mostly.
they're
Yeah,
keeping
yeah.
out of sight.
Can we make Dawn roll a con check?
So, it's obvious that the concerns of her subjects are a great burden on Ashlyn, but as I said, something about this particular duty and the regality with which she's carrying herself, she seems to have collected herself a bit and is more focused than you've seen her the last couple of times you've encountered her. She looks at you and she says, "We will be leaving within the hour." She gestures at the representatives gathered around the Onyx Requiem. There will be a small detachment of Nixian Guard that accompany us on the trip to the Etherwood, the tree in the very center of the city, just to be on the safe side. If you have any last-minute questions, now is the time to ask.
What should we know of this ritual before we begin it?
I am a little anxious about it, I suppose. It's not complicated, but it is dangerous. There's little point in discussing the particulars until we're actually there. As I said, it's not complicated. It will not take a tremendous amount of time or effort to set up. But once it begins, I will be relying on you very, very heavily. And do not expect to come through it unchanged.
Are Valen's fears founded? Could this rebirth undo everything?
I must admit it is not outside the realm of possibility, but I have absolute faith in Nixia. I believe that she is truly the only one that can stop this madness.
What sort of a deity was she? Was she known to be empathetic towards?
Intensely so.
Okay.
Goddess of resurrection.
She gave her
The
life.
entire concept of it started with her.
You say you have faith in Nixia.
Absolute faith.
Ashlyn, we have faith in you.
Thank you. I am deeply impressed that you were able to receive divine blessings of the domains that allow this ritual to even take place. It was a desperate hope, but you have fulfilled it remarkably. If I needed any further evidence that my faith is well-founded, it's that you all arrived here when you did.
Are you and
Okay.
Valen okay?
Yes. He was jealous of you all. That I chose to confide in you and not him. You have no idea how long it took for me to get that out of him. But I succeeded.
I don't want to speak for Dawn, but I imagine she would say something to the effect of he should feel loved that you told us and not him.
Well, that might be a bridge too far at the moment, and I cannot allow myself to get distracted at this time, but it is nice to think of a potential happy ending.
Aw.
I just want to say, I hope that you're not. Ren, you might come out of this changed, but changing is how we know we're living in, or not living, or existing in a way that is actually experiencing the world around us. So,
Quite right. There will be a cost we all must bear, but it is insignificant compared to what will happen if we do not succeed. So,
let's go resurrect a god. Come on.
a goddess, Jack.
Apologies.
Maybe you shouldn't talk when the goddess appears, Jack.
First off,
Maybe you shouldn't talk ever.
this feels hurtful. We're about to go ahead and do something very, very serious. And I just want y'all to know, I love each and every one of you equally.
You love Wynn more than the rest of us, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I know, I can read your emotions. I do regularly. You definitely love her more.
You read other people's minds?
We are ready, Ashlyn.
very good. Your gargoyle escort arrives. They are Nixian guards, all born from a variety of different stones. Their leader introduces himself as Takar, the Onyx Talon, hewn from gleaming onyx. Stands at nearly 8 feet tall, with a few more inches added by curling horns. They are a gargoyle of few words, but they stand ready to protect you. As you make your way out of the Onyx Requiem and begin to follow a route that Ashlyn has chosen that will lead directly from the Onyx Requiem to the Etherwood. However, it will take its time, as Ashlyn is using this as, she said, a way to show the people of the souls of Nox Villar that she has faith, that the leaders have faith in Nixia, and that this appeal to her at the Etherwood is one that is centered and is contained, or it bears within it a kernel of defiance to the Scarlet Malice and to the threat that now is being posed to the city.
Guess we don't have to worry about being stealthy.
Indeed. The first part of this journey is filled with crowds of citizens who have actually come out and gathered where they can, they are offering up prayers, audibly offering up prayers, and thanking Ashlyn and Nixia for the fact that this place actually exists. Those who have lived here or have existed here for some time and have come to understand the nature of Nixia, the nature of the Sunless Crossing, and what could possibly have happened to them had these places not exist. They are intensely grateful. In some cases, you see members of the populace actually leaning out of open windows or doors to wave. Here and there, you hear pleas for help from Nixia, from other deities, from Sovereign herself. The people of Nox Villar are suffering as this conflict continues. But you are not interrupted as you travel slowly through the streets of Nox Villar. Go ahead.
So are we? So is this sort of a DM? Is this like a processional march?
Mm-hmm.
Are we like on some sort of vehicle?
Float?
Or
No.
yeah, like is that?
You're most definitely on foot or flying in your case. So it's a processional indeed.
Say.
But a float's a good idea for next time.
Yeah, right. Just so.
For the next time the world is coming to an end,
of course.
and we have to
Have
do
a
a
parade
big epic
float.
processional
Yep.
through the city.
Couple of
Thank
Chinese
you.
dragons.
Oh yeah.
Electric light parade.
Yep,
Candy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, beads. As the procession marches on during the second hour of your trip, however, you have come to the road of eternity and you appear to be making a circuit of the Etherwood before you enter into it. So you hear the sound of the river and you hear the sound of the crowds, but it's momentarily drowned out as there's a scream. As the sound grabs your attention, the processional slows to a stop. The priests around you murmur in confusion, and you see Takar grow very tense. Ashlyn glances in your direction, a little confused, as a figure garbed in tattered and threadbare robes crawls its way through the crowd that clogs a side street. They are wearing mouse brown robes And the figure points a pale finger towards you and towards the sovereign. And a ragged voice scratches out from the recesses of its shadowy hood. And with each word spoken, the volume grows. You foolish servant of a dead god! What you seek will not be what you receive. No redemption or salvation is to be had this day, only madness and rage! And as the figure rants, the Nixian guard moves to push the robed figure back into the crowd, and as the protesters accosted, the shouting grows even more desperate. Do not follow this path! Turn back! Back! She who sleeps will not be she who rises! However, the Nixian guard succeed in pushing the strange oracle back into the crowd. One of the gargoyles takes flight over the mob and returns a few moments later, quietly confers with Takar, and not wanting this to unsettle this individual to cast a pall over the procession. It begins its way again. And
was I able to see what that person was? Was I able to see their faces when they were whispering to Takar?
The Nixian guard came back and whispered to Takar?
Yeah.
Yes, I would say yes.
I can read lips.
Yes, your new ability with.
Oh my god, getting
Plus
more
five
and
and
more
nosy.
more and more nosy
Oh my
each
God.
level.
That by far is one of the most least used little bits of that feat.
And yet, I cast
Fantastic.
Snoop.
Yes.
I'm so nosy.
You get a few words.
We move in the
protester
shadows.
Once into the crowd and out of sight, the individual fled, possibly aided by magic. And the guard is sending 2 members to scout the path ahead to make sure there are no more disruptions.
Is Ashlyn near us?
Yes.
Someone you recognize?
She shakes her head. She maintains a upright posture and nods to various individuals as she moves through, continuing this processional, but she does speak to you. She says, "No, I've never seen that individual before. At least I don't think so. I couldn't get a good look at their face."
Is there a temple to Nixia?
You're standing in it.
So
All of Noxvillar, and indeed all of the Sunless Crossing, are her temple.
does she have clerics?
She does not grant spells. She is dead. So, in that sense, no.
But she would
But-
have priests or followers.
Followers, certainly.
Okay.
I am one of them. And there are others.
Mhm. How would he be privy to that information?
Well,
It's
he
a very good
seems to have
question.
using magic. At least according to the Nixian
DM,
guard.
did we get the sense that he was that person was legit? I mean, did it sound like the ravings of a madman, or did it sound like somebody trying to warn
it kind
us?
of did sound like the
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what we
exactly.
were all
Yeah.
thinking.
Queen of filth.
Rubbish. Make an insight check for me. Win.
God.
I'm not going to give it to Dawn this time. I want there to at least be a chance it could fail.
All right. Oh, 20.
Am I able? Okay. Oh well, shoot!
no.
Shut my mouth.
Did you say 50?
No.
No, 20.
23.
No, 20.
22, sorry.
23.
Yes.
22.
That way she has a chance of failing it. 57.
Win is actually incredibly insightful. She just doesn't have any
Yeah.
chill and
Damn it.
can't respond to it appropriately.
She casts divine in smite. Yes.
I forgot what the question was.
Did it seem legit? Like, was this a crazy person, or did this sound like?
Their words were particularly unsettling, that is to be sure, but the way they were said, and certainly the appearance of the person, hard to take them seriously.
Okay.
Look, if I had a nickel for every time someone who went to bed then woke up and was really, really pissed about it, like, I have so many nickels. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Every day.
I think I might have
Niall or Samus?
may have
Yes.
already.
Sorry. Please keep going.
I
Sorry,
think I may
Sean.
have already mentioned it, but just in case, I'm very grateful that I met you all at Junction. Suppose it wasn't that many days ago, actually.
It's been a whirlwind
Very-
ever since we got here.
Very
It's been at
grateful
least
for
50
your
years.
efforts.
Grateful we
50
could
years.
possibly make a difference. Oh, into the backpack.
No, come on.
I want you
We're
to know
happy
that
we're here to help.
I want you to know that you have given me hope, despite all the madness that is here. I think I would have fallen to despair some days ago were it not for you.
That thing that you said you wanted to put off until after. Sometimes that's where we draw our strength from. I wouldn't shy away from it. I don't think it's a distraction.
I'm at a loss as to how it could possibly be anything other than that in this moment, Niall.
It's hope. It's something to hold on to.
It's a reason to fight.
Help me remember that if the time comes that it seems that I may be forgetting.
Of
We'll do
course.
all that we can. Don will just be like, "No, you're a big softie at heart.
Oh, fuck off.
I know you love me."
So, the remainder of the way toward the Etherwood is filled with chants of the faithful, tearful cries of thanks to Sovereign and Nixia. The outpouring of faith and reverence only increases once the procession nears its destination. The road in front of all the temples of the road to eternity is littered with priests that are swinging censers of burning incense, filling the air with the clouds of smoke that swim over the crowds in the procession. And with the scent of incense redolent in your nose, the procession circles the Etherwood, and you can hear the sound of the crowd slowly becoming a part of the background noise of the city. Before you, you see the massive Etherwood claws its way into the sky, and above this ancient wisteria-like brick tree's branches, you see the vortex of the Storm of Broken Worlds. Lightning arcs across the funnel as it dips towards the top of the tree, and there is a soft thrumming of energy that travels through the air like a ghost, leaving you with a feeling of thousands upon thousands of eyes watching you. The gold veins that run through the alabaster petals of the wisteria pierce the clouds of incense, and Ashlyn leads you to the southern stretch of the road to the road to eternity. And as the procession comes to a halt, the massive trunk of the tree stretches upward towards the sky. Ashlyn nods at the Nixian guards and the priests, and they move to address the gathered crowd. Sovereign turns to face the masses, stretching out both of her arms into the sky, and her sleeves slip down to her wrists. As she speaks, her voice is clear and strong. She says, "Citizens of Nox Valar, I stand before you, blessed by fate to be the sovereign of our majestic home. We will call to the gods and Nixia for their blessings so that we may weather this storm and its uncertainty. There is nothing beyond these streets that our faith in the gods and one another cannot defeat, so I entreat all of you, offer your prayers so that they may be heard with ours. Let us stand as one, united by the knowledge that while we may be dead, we will never be silenced by fear or uncertainty." As she finishes, a roar takes over the crowd, Waves of applause and crying prayers fill the air. Ashlyn takes a breath to steady herself and nods to the priests around you. They move as one, stepping to the crowd to pray alongside them, leading them in praise as Ashlyn gestures to you to follow her. You can feel the fervor that has taken over the citizens of Nox Valar, praying for an end to the Scarlet Malice. They are well distracted as Ashlyn gestures toward the water surrounding the Etherwood, and a glimmering bridge of light forms before her, and she walks across the water that separates it from the road to eternity, beckoning you all to follow. Once you do, you are concealed from the crowd by the draped branches and petals of this incredibly large tree. And in the shadows, you can see a low light emitting from the golden veins along its petal and illuminate a path. There you see Valen waiting for you. Ashlyn, are you prepared for what is to come? She nods. Valen, make sure that none of the priests follow us. And thank you. He reaches out an enormous hand that is surprisingly gentle as he touches her arm. I will add my prayers. It has been more than an honor, Sovereign. She nods. You can see that even here there are strands of crimson lichen that have grown up from the ground and are beginning to encircle the tree. Ashlyn pays it no mind. She raises a hand and places it on the Etherwood and lowers her head and whispers a quiet prayer. Goddess Nixia, bestow your forgiveness upon your servant for what we must do to disturb your rest. In your infinite wisdom, may you see the necessity for what we do and grant us the strength to end this nightmare. I humbly ask for entrance so that we may grant you glory once again. And as her voice fades into the petals of the Etherwood, there is a soft rumble that travels the ground underneath your feet. And with a cracking of wood, the bark of the Etherwood begins to peel back, and a moment later, the wood itself splits, forming a soft archway that opens into a passage before you, descending into the ground through the roots of the ancient tree. Ashlyn smiles and nods to herself. The goddess awaits. And she begins to descend the stairs to the darkness below. And that will be where we take our break, my friends.
An emotional break.
Well done.
Thank you.
That was such a cool description.
I appreciate
that
it.
was
I
cool.
appreciate your attention. Supreme effort from all of you to maintain focus during all of that. I do appreciate it.
Hey, we can maintain focus when we try really hard.
If you look
and there
at the
isn't
chat,
major-
No, don't.
There's
Don't.
one of us
Don't.
who did not maintain complete focus.
Oh, at least two of us who did not maintain. There's a lot of
Anyway,
like,
We're still.
a lot of massive wood, golden veins. You know, things happening. You know.
Dear
I think we're still
God.
on.
You
Well,
I think we're
Jack.
still on.
We're still
think we're still
recording,
on.
friends.
I mean,
So, back here very shortly. See you then. While I murder my players.
It's gonna give you negative inspiration.
And welcome back. This is Severed Threads Notes from the Black Ballad. I am Medium here with my amazing players. If you've been watching, then welcome back. If you've just now joining us, then welcome. We are going through the final episode of season 2 of this romp through the Black Ballad, this quite unique and fantastic module by Storytellers Forge, who are also sponsoring this stream. We're very grateful. We're also grateful to the music of Diamorte, led by Drake, who you've been listening to and will continue to listen to as we make our way to the end of our this part of this journey. Our fantastic character art by Kai. You can find links that will tell you more about her and tell you more about Diamorte and tell you more about Storytellers Forge in the chat. And now that we are to the second half of our final episode, it is time to talk about dice giveaways. So, if you wish, and I highly suspect most of you do, please immediately go to the Storytellers Forge Discord and type in Severed Threads in the general chat there. The link is now in the Twitch in the chat here. If you do this, you will be entered into a giveaway for a set of fancy dice that have been created just for us by Umbro Oculus. You will potentially win them. We will send them to you, and all we ask is that you head to Storytellers Forge Discord right now and mention Severed Threads. That's all you gotta do.
I want to do it.
Me too.
All the click-clacks.
You just tell somebody else to do it for you.
Ooh.
That's what I do.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Just kidding.
Because we already have dice.
But
We do.
yes, indeed. We all already have dice from Umbro Oculus.
And they're
Fantastic
gorgeous.
gifts.
You
Oh
can
my
use
God,
them
best
to
dice I
insight
have.
check your ships too.
I have my dice in place of honor on my bookshelf behind a screen that you cannot see.
Yeah.
But,
In our
I
hearts,
love
we know
All
it's there.
D4s
yes.
should be this shape.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
So, let us return now as the adventurers make their way into the Etherwood, following Ashlyn down to the grave of Nixia.
Before we actually go down, I will probably just take a moment to try to sweep some of the red threads off of the
I
tree.
will do
It
that
comes,
also.
It comes free as easily as you've seen it come free from the souls that have come into the Sunless Crossing bearing this physical manifestation of the Scarlet Malice. As soon as it breaks free of the tree, it gets to crumble into ash and just floats away. But
Maybe it's a useless gesture, but I don't like seeing it on anyone. That's to your desk, since
Yeah,
you're doing it with me.
I agree. It's at least will feel meaningful that we tried.
Are you all right?
You know, no, but I don't think any of us really are. And I don't feel a need to lie. You?
I will give you a very uncharacteristic shoulder bump as we go downstairs, and or go down into the tree, and I'll say, I feel the same, but I also feel ready.
We have each other. We'll try together.
I suppose we do.
very well. As you make your way down, this stairwell appears to be made of stone. You travel further and further into the depths of Etherwood. There is a light source up ahead, and as you come to the bottom of the steps, you see what is causing it. Scattered amongst the rock walls in a room that seems to be roughly 30 feet square are beautiful polished stones that pulse, shedding multicolored light that illuminates the room and the bottom of the stairwell. The surface of the walls is interrupted here and there by the intruding roots of the etherwood, but rather than appearing to weaken the stonework, the branches actually seem to reinforce it, creating a support that likely helps keep this tomb intact despite some now hosting some of the crimson vines that snake across the roots. In the center of this room stands what is obviously a sacrificial altar. The dark table seems to be constructed out of a single piece of polished obsidian that rises as if it was grown right out of the ground. The air here tastes stale and smells of dust and very, very ancient death. Looking around this very simple tomb, you see no caskets, no effigies, just this table in the center of the room. Ashlyn takes a slow breath and pulls a bag of holding from beneath her cloak and says, "Now we begin." She produces from within this bag a series of vials and 3 censers, and she instructs you each to fill the censers with the incense that she has provided. After she does this, she distributes the violets and she sprinkles the altar and the floor around it with the contents. The vials contain sacred oils that smell faintly of lavender flowers. And then she asks you that you light the censers and begin to walk the perimeter of the room to spread the smoke. As you begin to walk the room, she begins to chant, but before she does, she asks you to add your prayers to what she is doing. I have no specific words that I require you to say. I just ask that whatever you do say, you say it from your heart. Anything from your own experience and lives, perhaps highlighting your own trials and tribulations. Display sincerity and desire to bring back Nixia, and perhaps ask her to bless the rites that are to come. Whatever words you think are appropriate. And as she finishes, she begins to continue walking around as you follow her, spreading the incense. Do any of you have any words to say? Not necessarily prayers, but words of sincerity and hope.
I don't have a deity that I normally pray to, but I have been so profoundly affected by my encounter with death that I think I would be speaking directly to the aspect of death. I would hold the thoughts in my mind. I wouldn't say them aloud, but I imagine I'd say something along the lines of, I know I am not worthy to ask for more favors. I have not led a chaste life or a good life, but I have spent more than enough time here to know that there are souls in need, and their needs are far greater than mine. If a sacrifice could be made of myself to save them, I would gladly do it. If you have any power in this space, please lend it so that we can create a difference for so many who need it. And I'll just keep that thought in my head.
It's excellent. Thank you very much, Samus. You may let that stand as your prayer if you wish, or you may make a skill check. You can think of one that's appropriate for your thoughts.
I think that is where I want to leave it as the prayer.
Very good. Anyone else?
I think as I'm walking around with the sensor and the room is filling with smoke and I'm hearing Ashlyn chant, I'm realizing that currently I am split. I am tied. There are two deities tied to my soul and my desires at this moment. And I think on them both and the fact that they're both perceived as negative emotions and negative things, but from regret comes hope, and from envy comes drive, and I just speak out to both these deities, asking them to help us find that hope and spread that drive and spread it to others in this room across the Sunless Crossing as we try to accomplish this, as we try to save this space.
Very good. Do you wish to let that stand, or do you want to add a skill check?
I think I would also like to let it stand.
Very good.
When would are we hearing everybody's, or are these private, sort of under the
I would
breath?
say that even though they're being privately thought, you can detect that people are perhaps murmuring, or you could see lips moving.
But we're
People
not
are-
making a speech to the room.
Correct.
Great. Then she would be a little more honest. And she would think and mutter, I have no deity, and my only goal since taking my paladin's oath has been protecting life and giving everyone a chance to live. Because with that comes hope and possibility and potential. But what I've learned ever since all of this happened is that there is so much more to life than breathing and a beating heart. And so, with all of the power of my oath and my desire to help those live, I beg you to help us live beyond what we thought life could be.
Who does Wynn picture in her mind when she thinks these words?
Her daughter, no question. She used to have a permanent image of her in her head as her toddler, almost kid self, and now that has morphed into some sort of misty image that she might be something else entirely and yet still be her.
That's
and
beautiful.
so she's reforming that inside image of her.
Thank you. Take a heroic inspiration for that. That's really quite special.
I happily will.
Jack, Dusk, either of you?
Yak, this entire time, has come forward and placed his hand upon the altar and has cast Legend Lore on Nixia.
The fuck?
All right,
Jack,
as I
just do what you're
recall,
told.
Have
as I
you
recall,
met me? So
that particular spell does require a specific component to cast.
yeah, it's incense and 4 ivory strips. So if you want to ding me for
that have a particular gold piece of value. I suppose I would need to know, what is your intention in casting Legend Lore here?
So Yak places his hand upon the altar and seeks to gain the knowledge that what they are doing is right, and also wants to know if if this is in fact the resting place of Nixia, and if this, gaining the knowledge of if she is here, then that we are on the right track and we are all as well. And if she is not here, then I want to do the best I can to absolutely give my friends as much knowledge as possible to make it through this.
All right. As you step forward and place your hand on the altar, you see Ashlyn look towards you to see what you're doing, and her brow furrows a little bit. She does not stop chanting, but she does recognize that you have stepped out of what she has asked you to do.
Okay.
I will allow you to cast this spell, as long as you're sure that's what you want to do.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
DM just said
That was hella threatening.
Yeah.
I need you to think real hard about this.
I mean,
I need you to think real hard about this.
I'm the cleric of the god of knowledge. I mean,
you just
I'll
play
say
one
it a
on
third
TV.
You just play one on TV.
I mean,
You're not actually a cleric of the god of knowledge, Jack.
I cast it.
All right.
Ryan,
So it does. I think it also has a casting time.
It does. It's 10 minutes, which is why
10 minutes.
Which is why I waited until a few people had already talked, because that means
Yeah,
I would.
got it. So yes. So your spell completes. You feel the energy leave you
As I
as you expend some of the divine energy that you have held,
and you
Quite
lose
a
4 of
bit
your
it.
real life friends.
quite a bit of it, as
And-
it is a 5th level spell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's a.
So you feel this expenditure occur, and you immediately know. You don't have no idea whether or not Nixie is here or anything like that. There's nothing about the spell that tells you about whether or not you are in the presence of the soul of Nixia. However, this altar, you feel the history of it. It has lain here for millennia. You were the first person, well, actually Ashlyn was the first person, but you are the second person to have touched it in thousands of years. It was the scene of a great moment of hope, as a being whose generosity of spirit and willingness to sacrifice herself on behalf of all souls, not life, all souls, took place here. This sacrifice that Nixia gave, it washes over you in a way that you have never experienced anything. The only thing that is even come close is when you actually began to sink down into the domain of death and felt yourself going under. You feel that same feeling, but instead of going under, you feel it welling up from within you. It threatens to rip you apart from the inside out. You are not strong enough to hold on to this level of generosity. I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Dear God.
Oh my god.
Can we assist him in any way? Like see that he okay.
He's paying
No,
for his hubris.
Absolutely not.
The
I'm
rest of
leaving
you
him to his
watch.
device.
Rest of you watch as Jack's eyes go jet black, and black tears begin to fall.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I am.
All out of his eyes.
And not only that, but like I would imagine, like he would have tried to maintain his levitation as
You're
he flew.
Pippin with the Palantir,
Oh.
like ugh.
So he places his hand upon you see him place his hand upon the altar, and he manages to maintain his flight. And as this surge, wellspring of generosity just consumes him entirely. He just drops to the floor. And that is a...
We're in such a fight right now.
Oh, it's a 28!
Oh my god.
28.
A 28 for my charisma roll.
That succeeds. However, Jack, in order to hold on to this, I'm afraid you are going to have to reveal to everyone here, Francis, as the fey elements of you fade away briefly.
Okay. Yeah. So as you see, Yak drops to the floor, collapses, and then what seems to almost spectrally rise up from him is a boy. Just a kid. Weirdly enough, still taller than Yak. But he turns to each of you and says, "Where's my mom? I shouldn't be here." He looks at Wynn. "I miss my mom. I'm sorry. I got lost. I got so lost." He drops back down into Yak, and he immediately sits back up, just...
Jack, the light in your eyes has gone out.
Woof.
It is now just darkness.
Oh, wait. Oh, so I'm like just blacked out pupils?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, so.
But it sounds like you lost your divine blessing.
Did you lose your divine blessing?
You still feel it?
Yeah, I was going to say, or it's something else
that's
now.
good.
So, Yak, I pull myself up to my knees and put myself in a pose of supplication, resting my head against the bottom of the altar. And I say, out loud and in my mind, to the gods present and those beyond, thank you for the gift of knowledge and for the ability to know that we are where we need to be. Should a sacrifice be asked of me, I would give it 10,000-fold, knowing what I know now. And this foolish boy begs your forgiveness for not having faith before.
All right. Only one of you has yet to commit to any sort of a prayer. Dusk?
Huh. In below, kind of under my, I whisper to myself, I am just a cosmically useless being, but in this moment, I hope that I can be of help to you to return a beauty to this world that seems to be slowly corrupted by forces that don't quite understand what this place is or what meaning it has. To be able to give all of these souls hope is something that not many gods even would be willing to commit to, and the fact that you gave your own life to create something this wonderful, I hope that we can continue to be of use to Ashlyn, who truly, truly believes that you are a wonderful, divine being. If it is deemed that my help makes it important that I no longer continue to be as I am or at all, please spare my sister. I would gladly be erased from this world and its existence if it meant that hope continues, at least for her.
You guys. All right. Well, that was certainly sincere from all of you. Thank you for that. As your prayers go on, and as Ashlyn moves around the space, silence suddenly falls over the tomb. Footsteps cease to make sounds, and your voices are reduced to a whisper, and this pall of quiet seems to hang over the tomb for nearly a minute, and then the stones in the wall begin to glow more brightly, and your hearing begins to return to normal. Ashlyn steps to the altar, puts her hand on your shoulder, Jack, and brings you to your feet, and gives you all a nod, and she says, "She's here. It's time." She collects all the censers and the vials and she places them back in her bag, slips it beneath her cloak, and then she runs her hand across the polished surface. She sighs as she looks at you. "Now is as good a time as any to tell you what we need to do and give for this to work. Bringing Nixia back may seem daunting, but we need to wrestle any bubbling nerves into submission. Can't afford to hesitate. This realm can't afford hesitation. I will stand here, and you will need to channel your divine power. I will try first to connect to Nixia's essence. Once a link is made between you and me, and then me and Nixia, we will face challenges. 5 of them, I suspect. These will allow you to not only infuse Nixia with the power that she will need to return, but also, hopefully, convince her of our dire need, that she needs to return from oblivion at all. So, thank you all for being here. What we're about to do has never been attempted in the Sunless Crossing before. Nixia is everywhere here. This realm, as you know, was born from her sacrifice, and within it, small pieces of her remain. A memory here, a false thought here, a familiar whisper there. Her divine spark flickers ever so often, and sometimes it comes to rest in something or someone. I carry one of those sparks. I've researched notes from dozens of sovereigns going back to the first. There have been theories and debates on possibility of pulling the remaining faded fragments of the goddess back together and using a miracle to force the breath of life back into her. These writings have taken me many years to assemble and work into a blueprint of a plan, and this rite is a culmination of that work. The divine power you have gathered will be channeled through me. I will bring the scattered essence of Nixia together. I need you all to assist. From what I have gathered, as these challenges take place, we might also encounter interference from other dead gods in the storm of broken worlds. I will be unable to do anything as I handle the energy you will be channeling through me, so you will need to face them alone. However, before we begin, you must make an offering. All we are here is memory. And I ask that you sacrifice a piece of that memory for Nixia. Do you have any questions?
How?
Is there... Well, we all have questions.
5 hands
I
immediately shoot up.
understand.
Yeah, no.
Please, yes.
Does it have to be a certain kind? What kind of memory would be most powerful here?
The memories will be forever wiped from your minds if we are successful. It does not require a massive swath of memory, your entire childhood, or anything that dire. Just important memories. A first kiss. How you acquired your first battle scar. Death of a loved one. First time you met someone who you truly loved. Things of that nature.
I see.
Okay.
When you say that
So-
you're bringing
Go ahead.
these pieces of her together, are you bringing them together inside of you?
More or less.
Okay.
Are you going to... You're not going to, like, disappear after this or be rendered apart?
I don't know. No one's ever tried this.
This must be absolutely terrifying for you. We are here with you. We'll do our utmost to keep you safe.
I'm so grateful.
We can do this. We can do what
We
needs to
must.
be done.
Jack, what memory do you sacrifice?
My mother's name was Abigail Meyer. She had blue eyes. And she always smelled like dirt because she would plant flowers outside of our house. I can't stand the smell of flowers. I give this for the good of the crossing.
Ashlyn directs you to one of these glowing stones on the side of this chamber. And as the memory begins to form in your mind, she places your hand on the stone and you feel its warmth and you feel the glow of it. The rest of you all see the black tears beginning to roll down Jack's face. Niall,
It was a month after all 5 of us had joined together as a party. We were on our way to Neverwinter for the first time as a group, and a thunderstorm had broken out. There wasn't really any reasonable shelter, just a very shallow outcropping of rocks that we all managed to huddle together underneath. Normally, if we were to be in sleeping arrangements, I would have been far away, so I couldn't hear Jack snoring or Dusk's murmuring. But we didn't have that luxury. We were all huddled. I was still trapped in the form of the wolf in this time, and every time a thunder clapped, I whimpered involuntarily. And every single one of them put their hand on my fur. And it was the first time I realized I wasn't traveling with them because I had to. I was traveling with them because I chose to. I give this for the good of the crossing.
Ashlyn brings your hand to one of these stones, and as the memory forms in your mind, it begins to glow stronger and you feel its energy. Win.
My daughter's favorite color was blue, which at first annoyed me because growing up with a name like Wintier, everybody always gave me blue things and ice-colored things, and it's just forced upon me, but no one forced it on her, and it was her favorite, and after that, it was always my favorite too. But I am willing to give that.
Ashlyn brings your hand to one of the stones, begins to glow, and takes on a deep blue hue. Dusk.
When Dawn and I were younger, we lived with in the household. We were abandoned by our family. No one cared what our fates were, what we did in our time together. So when we first happened upon some books for children younger than we fell in love with just sharing that pastime together. But we couldn't really get books that easily, so I would sneak into our older sister's study to steal books that hopefully she wouldn't notice while we're gone. And this was terrifying because I knew that if I get caught, I would get beat so bad. But the exhilaration of finding just a fun or dumb book that Dawn and I could read together and make stupid notes in and little awful drawings, and that was worth it. That pain, that fear, that excitement was worth it. I will give this for the good of the crossing.
Ashlyn takes your hand, places it on one of the stones, begins to glow. You feel its energy. And Dawn.
When I was about 15 or 16, there was a boy. He was a courier in our city. His name was Timothane. And he used to deliver notes and missives and packages for our parents' business. And I developed a crush and would find excuses to be the one at the door and to talk to him. And eventually there was an extra note in the parcels he delivered that said, "You're the only reason I don't hate these roots." And I kept that in a book my sister gave me that she stole from our other sister's study of children's stories that you guys have seen. And one night I went for a walk with him and we had a wonderful time. And I came back and told Dusk all about it. And what I saw, she didn't say anything, but what I saw in her eyes was fear and hurt that I would leave her, that I would forget her like everybody else in our family did. And so I told Timothy I couldn't see him anymore. And after that, I burned the note so that I would not have something that would pull me away from my sister and make her feel alone again. And I think as I give this memory for the good of the crossing, I realized that maybe it wasn't my emotions I was protecting by putting up the walls I had.
I want to clarify something. Is this book that you all are referring to, is it present here in the Sunless Crossing?
The book, I have the book. It's one of the books that she gave me when we were kids. And I have it with me with doodles from both of us in it.
Wow. And Dusk knows about this book? This is the book that she was referring to?
It's one of the books, yep.
Okay. You place your hand on one of the stones and it begins to glow. And as all of you have your hands on your stones, you watch as this memory that you have in your mind begins to play out on the stone. And you're able to watch it and regard it as if you were seeing this event happening as a third person. As the last moments of these memories play out, they freeze into a final image. And then they detract from the wall and begin to float in the air behind you. You still have access to this memory and will until it is actually sacrificed. As this part of the ritual is concluded, there is a fading of the light that happens very quickly, sort of a closing, a black flash of light. With all these memories prepared, Ashlyn asks you all to approach. She throws her hands up towards the ceiling, and a quiet prayer begins to slowly build on her lips, growing in intensity and volume as she beseeches the gods and Nixia to answer her calls. As her voice carries through the room, a burst of pure white light erupts from her, banishing this darkness. After a moment of adjustment to the new illumination, you can see Ashlyn wreathed in divine power. When she looks at you, her eyes are burning, blazing with the energy of the gods. And her hands reach towards you all, sweeping over the room, and at that moment you feel a surge of power flow from within you as the Sovereign makes a connection with the divine boon within each of you. It is not a pleasant experience. You feel the rush of this current that is traveling from you now to Ashlyn, and realize that if she is not careful, not only will she draw the divine boon from you, but she will draw your very essence as well. So, as you contemplate this, wind begins to pick up in this space, roiling around you all, moving your clothes, moving your hair, forcing you to brace against it. Is a whirlwind that begins to close in upon you, and you feel it creating a wall of wind that is keeping you here, perhaps trapping you here. Lightning begins to crackle in it. And you begin to notice humanoid silhouettes appearing within it. difficult to know what they are, except Ashlyn has warned you these must be shades of dead gods, as you recognize now that somehow a bit of the storm of broken worlds has entered into this place and is present with you. And the power that Ashlyn is channeling is drawing them to you. In fact, it's drawing them to specific ones of you. Dusk. You hear the voice of an old, kindly sounding man.
Ah. There you are, child. A most devout servant. You feel it, don't you? The pulse beneath your skin. The shard. My prison. My last echo. You know me, Dusk. I am more than a memory. I am possibility. And you, of all mortal beings, are not deaf to it. You cradle the bones of a dying world and pour your will into the vessel of Nixia. I know her. We all knew her. She is resurrection, renewal, the promise that death is but a door. Sweet lies to soften the screen. Her gift is comfort. Rebirth wrapped in velvet. The endless turning of the wheel, but what she gives, she also takes. Memory becomes myth, truth becomes parable. Pain is dulled, yes, but so is clarity. I ask you, Dusk, how many times must the world burn and bloom again? How many times must mortals live blind, praying to stars that do not answer? Nixia will raise them, yes, but without vision, without reckoning, without truth. I was that truth. I am Savras, the all-seeing, the chained oracle. Once my eyes watched the weave itself twisted shimmer. Once I saw the storm before it came, and for that he seemed to me in crystal. Because I would not lie, because I would not look away. You are named for the dying light. But dusk is not the end. It is the hour when sight sharpens. Let me show you what lies beyond the veil. Nixia would have you weep.
I am clutching the shard that he is mentioning that I have with me. I gladly would receive anything that you're willing to show or give.
There is a price. I know you tremble, Dusk, but not in fear. In recognition. Truth curls in you like smoke in a sealed jar, pressurized, desperate to escape. Let it out. Break the shard. Break the lie. Nixia is mercy, yes, but mercy is not vision. Mercy blinds you to necessity. I may not be kind to Dusk, but I am honest. I deserve this resurrection. Will it? Make it so.
Oh.
You, more than others, should know that the spark of godhood that I am nurturing within me is meant for you. Nothing else shall be given to you until that time comes.
They broke me for the sin of seeing, for daring to speak. They feared the shape of what must come, and now you stand where they once stood, at the edge of knowing. Will you repeat their cowardice, or will you bear what they could not? I do not ask for worship, Dusk. I ask for reckoning. And I have been patient long enough.
You know, what I am doing is for you. But not right now. And I understand the fury, and I understand the might that you would bring. Upon your return, you have been patient thus far. I will promise to you that the spark that I nurture is for you and you alone, and I will give to you your life, your place in divinity. But you must wait a bit more. You know that I've been only yours in meaning until this far.
Let me in, Dusk. Let me see through you. I was the first eye. Be my second.
The shadow in the storm fades for you, Dusk. You have successfully resisted the pleas of Savras.
That is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life.
Like that.
Damn.
I mean, technically, we're already dead. So
I heard dead gods in the could show up, and I was like, wait a second, my sister worships a dead god, and didn't occur to me that that might turn into something bad.
Emotionally, I was not ready.
No, yeah, and it was at that
Well,
moment.
my friends, we're not done.
Oh no!
Great,
My tummy hurts.
great,
Oh.
great start.
My tummy hurts.
The rest
Yeah.
of us have to pet a bunny. It's fine.
When you see in the storm a shadow
Oh, you
that
do it.
suddenly stops and turns towards you with great speed and focus. A form takes shape, an armored woman.
You have it. Even after all these years. Even after the world forgot my name. You still bear my ring. I am Emetrica. Win, you know the power of cold steel. No sigils, no jewels, just the shape. The endless line, not a crown, not a halo, a circle, discipline, duty, vengeance that does not howl but strikes with purpose.
As this entity says these words, you feel on your person the ring of steel that you found clutched in the skeletal hands in the Storm of Broken Worlds.
But I do not know you. Not yet. But in you I see a protector. A defender of all life. And yet, life died. Did it? she died. Your daughter's name is etched into your bones, Wynn. You speak her name seldom, but you still remember the weight of her. The way her hand fit into yours. The way you failed to stop the world from taking her. And now you pray. Palms open, power channeled toward a goddess who offers you a softer lie. Nixia promises return, that death is impermanent, that grief can be rewritten. But Wynn, resurrection is not justice. It is denial. You know what it is to be a sword, to be a shield. Would you like to be my sword, my shield? Not to fight to undo death, but to hold it accountable. To ensure that pain has a price. I offer you purpose. Let the dead rest. Let her rest. Your child, she does not need to be returned, Wynn. She needs to be avenged.
It is incredible that you say so many words, and yet you are so wrong.
Say her name, Wynn. Say it. Or does it catch in your throat like it did the day she died? I remember. I see how you held her body, how you shook, how you begged. And then you begged again for peace, for penance. And you hope Nixia will bring you those things. But peace is not what you need. It's not what she needs. She needs you to fight.
The fight in me is the love I have for her, not the anger I bear to the world for taking her. That's what grief is. It's love. Zaressa is me, and I'm her. And her favorite color was blue, and I give that away, and I give you nothing.
You kneel to the goddess of lullabies of the graves of the innocent. Stand up, Wynn. Your grief is not a wound, it is a weapon. Raise me, and we will write memory into stone. Raise me, and we will make the universe pay what it owes us.
You have no power over me.
When you have successfully resisted the call of Emetrica.
I'm sweating.
I'm sweating. Amazing.
Jack.
Oh, fuck. Also, side note, we're coming back in and I'm gonna punch the shit out of that ghost, okay? So, like... All right.
Oh, little lord of the labyrinth, sweet, flitting Jack. You play so prettily, even now. Fingers on the strings, but your eyes are full of sorrow. But do you even know what tune you're weaving? Whose will you are bending to with every note? Vixia, goddess of endings undone. You reach toward her, hoping she'll stitch together what's come apart, but resurrection is not joy. It is regret, with better lighting. You want to bring her back. You want to fix the world, fix yourself. But Jack, what about me? I've been here, waiting all along in the walls of your hall, in the roots beneath your feet, the echo of every laugh you've chased but never quite caught. Your predecessor, your patron, he built a prison of cleverness, a maze without rhythm, without exits, without wine or song, and he threw me into it. Pan, me, god of horns and heat and howl, of revel, of riot,
Of release.
And so I danced in circles alone, laughed into walls, played upon my pipes until my breath ran dry, and when even madness left me, so did life. You didn't know. Of course you didn't. They buried me with the same elegance they buried your fire, with rules and roles and duty. But now, you hold power. Power enough to tip the balance, and you would spend it to raise a goddess of gentle goodbyes, of careful restoration? I ask you, where's the pleasure in that? Resurrect me, Jack. Unseal the song they silenced. Bring back ecstasy, the pulse beneath the page, the scream behind the laughter. Let the Feywild ring again with music no map can bind. Return me and I will crown you not Lord of a Labyrinth, but Master of Mad Delight. No throne, no chains, just wine, rhythm, and freedom. Come now, pretty bard, play for me.
Oh, poor little pandemonium. I do not have time for your prattling. I am writing the song of the heroes of the crossing. So why don't you take your little horn and go blow? Everyone loves a happy ending.
Oh, how quaint. Do you think that's what the multiverse needs right now? Another whisper promising everything will be all right while the rot grows deeper under the roots. Hope is a lullaby. I am a drumbeat. Let them sleep, Jack. You and I will make them dance.
Out of tune, sir. You lie. I am here with my friends. And we're going to save everybody.
You want her back? Fine. But bring me back too. Because what's the point of her laughter if the world still forgets how to dance? You want joy? I'm joy. Not the quiet kind, not the sweet lie of peace. I'm the shout at the end of the world. The kiss before the fall. The fire that doesn't ask who it burns. Jack! You've been searching for something. I know what it is. It's me. Please.
Please, Jack.
It's the least you could do.
Sorry, Horned One. Doesn't look like this is going to pan out. You're pucked.
Listen. The labyrinth. It persists past death. Jack, I can't go back.
I know.
You have to let me out.
I can't.
You have to let me out.
I can't. And I won't.
You're as cruel as your mistress. But much better looking.
As you have successfully resisted the entreaties of Pan.
Nicely done, Sean.
That was
This is an
amazing.
emotional roller coaster.
That is 3 deities resisted, and that is enough to pass this trial. Who knows what these individuals would have offered you, but you'll never know now.
Don't do that. Don't.
I gotta say, the deity
beg-
that spoke to Win, didn't pick up her vibe check at all.
Oh.
There was some
I was gonna
serious
say.
shit she could have said to make it pretty likely, and she did not go that route.
Oh, I begged her finest pardon.
Which I'm glad. As a player, I am very glad.
That was intense.
Yes.
That was intense.
And for me, it's like, oh, how would you like to complete your lifelong
Yeah, no
goal
shit, I would- no,
much
the second-
sooner?
That was the first one out of the
And if
gate.
you
I was like,
don't,
well,
I'll
we're
be
fucked.
mad.
So, as you make your refusals to these dead deities, the wind in the tomb ceases with an eruption of thunder and crackling lightning. There is a brief calm, and Ashlyn shudders and takes a deep breath. Her eyes are burning with the power of miracles, but her expression and the way that she is holding herself seems alien. You can see Ashlyn's skin is spawning golden spidering veins that begin to glow as the power courses through her. She levels her gaze at all of you. And she speaks, but as she does, you hear her voice overlaid with dozens of others that whisper and twist through her words. Why are you doing this? I am dead. I am not your responsibility. There's a burden of my resurrection. Not you. You are being directly asked by this aspect of Nixia why you are doing this.
Niall.
You have made the ultimate sacrifice to give hope to so many. The only reason we seek to bring you back is so that your sacrifice is not in vain. Everything you gave your life for, your essence for, is under siege. We bring you back so we can ensure that your sacrifice is worth it.
Not your responsibility. They promised. They would find a way. But you are not them.
Nixia, your sacrifice was not your responsibility either. And yet you gave yourself because you knew it was the right thing to do. We stand here knowing this isn't our responsibility, but offering ourselves so that we, in some small way, can reflect the gift that you gave so many others.
Failed me. They've forgotten me. Let me rest.
We have not forgotten. Please, Nixia. We cannot answer for the errors of others. We can only call to the goodness and purity that you are.
As Niall has taken upon himself to speak for the group, he automatically passes. But unless the rest of you have something to say, this will be a group roll.
DM, do we have any idea who she's talking about? That
Yes.
The other
failed her
gods.
before.
Yeah,
Yes,
the other
so-
gods.
Yeah. So the sorry, I didn't say. Do you want to take
Please,
this?
yeah, I just need a refresher.
John.
When we found out that at the time the other gods had promised, when they had realized there was an error in how resurrection was happening, that people were dying and then being ripped from their afterlife, she sacrificed herself for this space, and with the promise that they would find a better way and bring her back. And then it's been
Understood.
a very long time.
Yeah.
Thousands.
The crossing was supposed to be a temporary fix, and it has been in
Correct.
existence for millennia.
Yeah.
So
Yes, thank you.
Does anybody else wish to say anything to convince Nixia to return, or shall we roll?
I have something.
Okay,
um,
go
get
ahead.
Sometimes those who should do something, who promise to do something, don't, or can't, or won't. That doesn't mean that there aren't still people who care and who remember. And those people, us, the people of the crossing who owe so much to you, remember you and remember everything you did for them. Ashlyn remembers everything you did for these people, what you gave up, what to protect. And so instead of the people who should be doing it, those who should be doing it, we're here helping those, somebody with a spark of you, try to bring you back to save this place that you thought of to help so many people in so many ways. That's why we're here. It's not our responsibility, but it's our choice to help you, to bring back hope to this place that you created, and to save it.
the time to do the right thing is always right now. And while we cannot speak to the mistakes of the gods of the past, we stand here for the good of the crossing, for the good of all things, so that we may right this wrong that was done to you. And while we are not them, we would be less than if we stood by one moment longer. Goddess.
Dawn, do you
In-
wish to add your voice?
Do you mean Dusk?
Dusk, excuse me, yes, Dusk.
Twins.
In the lack of those who should be doing something has been left to us, the ones that are experiencing a bastardization of the wonderful thing that you have created. We are seeing it be corrupted, and while those that should do something seem to overlook what is happening, it has been left to us to try to do whatever we can to help bring back the beauty of the hope that this place brings to any being that exists or has existed. We do not have the innate power to do what needs to be done, and therefore it should be so much more meaningful that we have stepped up and risked everything to do this. And I hope that you can see that and feel that.
There is a breath that contains with it a variety of different words. You hear your own words spoken back to you in this breath, but you also hear words of others. Are these other souls praying to Nixia? You don't know. Are they thoughts that Nixia is giving voice to as she recoalesces here in the power that Ashlyn is drawing from you? You hear two words: hope. But you also hear vengeance. As Ashlyn's features begin to return to normal, this maelstrom that was behind you is no longer roiling in the wind, but as you look to the walls of this chamber, it seems to have moved into the walls of the chamber as if the very stone is moving, has become one with the storm of broken worlds, as Nixia's presence begins to warp this, her physical manifestation, that which she gave her life to create. You can see that the divine energy that is channeling through Ashlyn is beginning to take its toll. Her veins are starting to blacken and burn under her skin, which is beginning to smoke. The air in here is beginning to get hot and oppressive, crackling with the power of the gods that is continuing to be drawn from you. All of you feel as if your very essence is being strained. Through clenched teeth, Ashlyn addresses you, her voice slithering across this distance between you, racked with unbelievable pain. Quickly! Offer your memories to the goddess and help me show her that she's needed. Do you need any clarification?
Nope.
Okay.
Memories.
For the good of the gossip.
All right. Each of you pass your memory. Jack, your memory of your mother. Win, your memory of your daughter's favorite color. Niall, your memory of the first time that you realized what this group meant to you. Dusk, the book of the potential, the memories that it contains and that it could contain. And Dawn, of this note, this first love. All of them float from you and into the maelstrom, the heart of which is Ashlyn. As they reach her, they shatter, and you watch as the colors within them begin to roll around her and then expand and move out, becoming part of this room, becoming part of this place. One final persuasion roll, my friends.
I will be using my inspiration, please.
Very well.
It's like a group inspiration?
It is indeed a group inspiration.
Can we do things to help ourselves?
You can.
Yeah, so how many
You can
bardic
try it.
inspirations can I give?
It is up to you whether or not you wish to influence this through what you say, or you definitely feel the presence of Nixia here. You feel you have her attention. Is there anything you think you could say that could sweeten the odds? Then I suggest doing that. If there is a spell you wish to cast or an ability you wish to use, then you may do that. But if you are going to roll anything, before we roll the check, we will roll whatever modifications you wish to do first.
Okay.
Well,
So-
I'd like to use my heroic inspiration.
Very well. Well,
Yeah.
we'll deal with that then when the roll comes.
Great.
And I'm going to establish a bond of empathy with this. I'm going to just.
Oh God.
No, I would like to read
You'll
her
be fine.
emotions.
You'll be fine.
Bond of
This is
empathy.
gonna go great.
Bond of empathy, just basically like a string of power connects from me to this being, and it gives me advantage on persuasion, intimidation, and deception checks for 10 minutes.
Okay,
It's just
all right,
just a
yeah, you
connection, like heart to
got it,
heart,
yes.
emotion to emotion. It's not the one where I read people's emotions. I'm not going to
No,
do
I
that.
got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay,
Does
good.
she,
Using
Good.
does she have a
Peeing in
does
the
she have a
chair.
crushy on somebody? No, not the moment.
Remember,
Bond of
remember when you
empathy,
did
so
that to
I have
Majid, and then
All right. As you establish this bond of empathy, you begin to feel a massive feedback loop of empathy as Nixia, you're not only feeling Nixia's emotion or this ability that you've brought in yourself, but she's feeling yours, and then you are influencing hers. She's influencing yours. It's beginning to grow.
Okay.
You don't have much time to hold on to this.
Okay.
Does anybody wish to say anything?
I say honestly, I was looking at my other two party members who don't have any sort of inspiration. I go, come on, Ooze crew, we got this.
No. I have something. I'd like to do unshakable motivation.
Aha!
Hey,
Which will get a D12. Who am I? Who would I be? I'm casting that on Nixia. Yes.
This is the
Or on
persuasion
the
roll is
group.
being rolled by you all, so you're the ones rolling.
Okay. So. Yeah. Just I speak words of encouragement to the group.
Yeah.
And say. We know this is right. We know this is hard. We know she'll make the right choice.
Okay. So who gets that?
That's what I'm at.
You
like,
give it
is
to the person who's rolling. So you give it to like one of us, or you can cast it higher and give it to more of us.
So all of us are going to roll. Is the difference? Is
yeah,
what?
it's a group
Yes.
roll, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. They
So
do.
who doesn't have a bit of inspiration right now?
Niall doesn't.
Niall, then
Well, so
I will give him that. Oh,
I was giving
okay.
my bardic inspiration to both Nile and Dusk, who didn't have, but
can
I don't know
give
how many of
two?
them you. I have
only-
6 bardic inspirations I can send out.
You don't have the time to do more than one, Jack.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. Then I will give one to Dusk, and then Nile can take yours, Tess.
great.
You sure Niall already has a plus 12. You sure you don't want to give it to
Oh,
someone else?
just on his own has
No.
plus 12.
Well, you just gave
Not
him
for
the plus 12,
persuasion.
right?
No,
I did.
It's a D12.
She did.
Oh, sorry,
D12.
It's a D12.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
Jack is
All right.
giving his to Dusk, and
Yes.
Wynn
Dusk.
is giving hers to Niall.
Love it.
Got it. All right. So, as you persuade, what do you say?
Didn't we just?
I know, right? Wynn
Something
just
short and sweet.
looks. Wynn
Ashley
looks at her.
at the group and she once again struggles. She says, "She must be made aware of the scarlet malice, that it poses a risk to the souls in this realm, and that the threat requires her attention."
Go ahead.
I will look to seeing one of the strands that I'm sure is still present in this place, and I will pick it up and let it disintegrate in my hand and say, "This doesn't belong here. This corruption doesn't belong here, and you can fix it. Please, Nixia."
All right, that's enough. As we roll, let us go first with the D12 that Jack has, that Niall has received from Jack.
From Wynn.
All right. From Wynn.
Yeah,
From
that's
Wynn,
D12
yes.
from Wynn. There it is. That's all right. It's all right.
I only have a 2 on the D12.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Then let us go with the Bardic Inspiration.
D10. Come on, Dusk.
Okay, D10, hold on. 1, 2.
D10. Come on.
7.
7.
I thought you went 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like, that's not a D10. I got this.
God, I know numbers.
All right. So now, Dawn, you have advantage, correct?
Correct.
So roll the first of your d20s then.
I hate this. All right.
God.
18.
18. All right.
Okay.
Good job, girl. Yes.
So keep that number in mind.
I have the
And now
20 facing up on that number.
You have the 20 facing
I have
up.
the 18 on my D20 facing up, so I remember it.
Oh, got it.
And then
So now, I think that's
Win
it.
also
Tess,
has advantage.
Tess
I have
also
my
has
heroic
heroic
inspiration.
inspiration. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Very good. Then roll the first of your d20s.
First was 3.
Okay.
Well, okay. Nowhere to go but up.
Total.
Okay. All right. Now it is time for the group persuasion roll. So, everyone roll. Add
Roll
what's
persuasion.
appropriate.
All right.
Persuasion.
Oh, can I use my aspect of knowledge where I switch my intelligence or charisma for wisdom?
Too late.
What?
It's too late.
He asked you
We're
for.
rolling.
He asked us for all of our things beforehand.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry.
okay.
All right.
Ooh.
And this
Okay.
is a persuasion roll, correct?
Yes.
Love it. Great. Brilliant.
Ride the tiger. Okay. What did we get, Win?
15.
A 15 total.
Yeah.
That's a failure. Jack.
I rolled a 12 on the dice with my added bonus of 13 for a total of 25.
Nice.
25 succeeds. Niall.
I got a 19 on the die, plus my 3, plus the 2 that Win gave me.
24.
Which is
I got a 24.
24 is a
Oh.
failure.
No!
Dusk.
No! We're gonna be fine,
I'm
right,
thinking
Dusk? Right,
Dusk,
Dawn?
what did you roll?
29.
That is a success.
Yes! Okay, come on. Come on, Dawn. Come
With
on,
my-
Dawn.
With my 18 on the dice and a plus 7 to persuasion, it's a 25.
25? You gotta be kidding me. The DC was 25. That
Oh.
is a pass.
My
That was horrifying.
Oh.
As your words to Nixia fade into the air, you see Ashlyn lift up from the floor of the tomb, her body levitating before the sacrificial altar. Wind once more begins to whip around the chamber, not in the walls, not in the reality of this place, but wind physically in this space, like a small hurricane. Glowing like the heart of a sun, Ashlyn blazes with godly power. And then, as quickly as it began, it ends. Ashlyn falls to the floor, slumped over, gasping for air, alive.
Oh.
Rush over to her, help her
Yeah, immediate.
immediately.
Yes.
Behind her, in the soft afterglow, you see the silhouette of a slender, elven woman. The power of her presence floods the room. But before you can make out her features, she vanishes, leaving you alone with the sovereign. However, she leaves behind a simple statement of fact, more felt in your minds than heard. I have returned. And that will bring us to the end of season 2.
You're bonkers. I am shooketh.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
Guys! That was amazing.
That
I can't
was-
believe we passed that. I was like
I
Oh, no.
100%
cannot
sure
believe.
that Dusk
I-
was gonna say like 12 or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
100%
It was
sure.
a 15 on the die, then plus 7, and then plus 7.
When you said 25, when you said the 24 failed,
I didn't.
almost
I was like, we're
died.
fucked.
I
We're
know.
so dead.
Like, no way.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Well, my goodness, what a ride this
Woof.
season has been. My eternal thanks and gratitude to my players, each of which has done yeoman work, both in just being present in their support of me and this endeavor, and also just being great players.
And also a huge thank you to this amazing DM we've got running this
Seriously
damn
easy
thing.
when you got a DM like that.
Bonkers.
Yeah, that's
Unbelievable.
crazy. You're the
You are
amazing.
Thank you so
bonkers.
much, guys.
That was,
Oh my god.
That's
I hope you will all join me in also thanking our amazing producer, Alias Prime.
my-
He
Scott
likes
is
to
the
hang
best.
out behind
Oh.
the scenes,
Y'all
and
don't
he
even
doesn't
know.
like to be
Alias.
publicly acknowledged, but we're doing it anyway.
We love you.
I love you, Alias.
Does amazing things on our behalf,
Yeah.
and we are very grateful.
Great, Scott.
We're also grateful to Storytellers Forge, the
Yeah.
writers of
What?
this module.
A fantastic freaking module. Like as you were saying, doing like all the different aspects of these like dead gods.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
fuck, mate.
Oh
Oh my
so
god.
The crazy thing is, guys, is that there's so much more.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
There's so much
So
more.
much more.
This book be
but,
thick.
Yes.
Oh, she thick. Yeah.
Juicies.
Juicies. Sorry.
If you are interested in any of the other things that Storytellers Forge produces, they have, I have to name them by name. Rick, Pat, Court, everyone at Storytellers Forge. They are just amazing.
So good.
And we appreciate their support as well. They have the Black Ballad, which is of course what we're playing. They have Chronicles of the Crossing, which is a series of books that take place in this world.
Can't wait to read them.
There's the Festival of the Forgotten, Revelations of the Dark Carnival, which is coming.
Can't wait to see who
There will
to
be
ship.
more.
This is already bonkers
soon.
enough.
It's going to
It's
be
gonna
more
be
soon.
more
They're
bonkers.
not even close to being done with all the stuff that they're producing. We are very grateful to Diamorte and Drake for the amazing music.
So
We're very grateful to the amazing Kai for her character
Yeah.
art. Through the
So-
this season, we were able to debut some more full-length art. I'm sure there's more coming for the future.
because how do we
and,
end just there? We can't.
exactly.
We gotta keep.
We can't. In some form, we will keep on going. Dice.
Dice.
If you are watching and you have enjoyed and you wish to win some dice from the amazing Umbral Oculus, then please go right now to the Discord channel for Storytellers Forge. Type Severed Threads into the Discord and you will be entered into a raffle to win some awesome fancy dice.
These are my
I assume
favorite
we
dice
all.
I've ever had.
I assume we all rolled our Umbral Oculus die
100%.
for that one. Yeah.
100%.
Which is
As
one of
well
the
you
reasons
should
why
have.
we probably passed that test. I'm just saying.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you owe it all to Umbral Oculus then.
Thank you.
So, if you enjoy this particular adventure, then you can hear more of Samus and I doing a different adventure. We have a podcast known as Echoes of Kryn, Dragons of the Hidden Flood. It is a D&D podcast that takes place in the realm of Dragonlance.
It's fantastic.
So good.
You should definitely check it out.
Award winning.
We're that's right, award winning. Twice
Y'all
now.
fancy.
But
Awards
and,
winning.
if you enjoy what I do and would like to be a part of it,
How could you not?
I would
know you
happily
do.
DM for you and your friends. I am for hire. You can find out how to hire me by contacting me in my Discord, and the link is in the chat as well. The last item that I need to address is continued thanks to you, the people who are watching this. We really appreciate this. We enjoy playing. We enjoy each other, but we really enjoy playing for a group of people who watch, and feels like it elevates the entire quality of the game. And we are very appreciative. So, with that said, I think it is time to say goodbye, my friends.
Goodbye, my friends.
Goodbye, my friends.
See you next time for a future season of Severed Threads, Notes from the Black Ballad. Goodbye, all.
Bye.
And that's the end of our show.
Did you really think I would notice the blatant hubris of the Council of Coastal Wizards? Perhaps they believed altering the fabric of the cosmos would keep me, from my fledgling warlocks, forcing my hand-selected tools to claw and crawl for experience they deem fit to forge a pact with me. Ridiculous. But the slamming of the celestial door made me realize I've committed a sin. I've forgotten about your world. Probably from the monotony of the same story over and over again. Slay the dragon, stop the evil cult, thirst over the vampire. Well, let's change that. Let's make it fun again, shall we? My carnival is coming to your world for a little housekeeping. All those messy rules those wizards put into place will leave a lot of things forgotten after all. I'm sure you won't miss them, but only if you accept my invite to the greatest story I've yet to weave, just for your insignificant ball of rock. All are welcome. From the most accursed king down to the misplaced orphan, I promise that everyone will leave with their souls intact. Seriously, I don't deal in souls. That's so... last millennia.